It feels like the Republican Party is filled with sickos and con men. And sometimes they be both. I'm seriously starting to wonder if there's any normal Republicans left in the party, and really I'm starting to doubt that. Republican Tony Gonzolas, a current member of the U.S. House of Representatives and one that Trump strongly endorsed, spent months claiming that he did not have an affair with one of his staffers. And last summer, this staffer committed suicide by setting herself on fire under very questionable circumstances. But now we all know dude been lying this entire time. The staffer's husband put out text messages between Tony Gonzalez and his ex-staffer, which proves that one, they was having a sexual relationship, and two, Buddy was pressuring her for nudes. And we're gonna take a look at some of those messages. But after seeing the Epstein files and understanding the lengths that politicians will go through just to cover their tracks, it's hard for me to just accept that this girl just set herself on fire in her own backyard. I want to pause for a moment and ask everybody to take a second, subscribe to my YouTube page, and sign up for my email list. Those are the best ways to stay in the loop on all things politics with Steve. Now let's get back to it. Okay, y'all. I'm not typically one to criticize a relationship between two consenting adults, but that is not what it looks like this was. First of all, I don't really think you can have a consenting relationship when one person is in such a position of power. I think most people think that, for example, somebody boss shouldn't be going after their employees. I think most people think that a teacher should not be going after that person's students, even if they are legal age. A correctional officer shouldn't be going after inmates. This is obviously wrong to the point that even Republicans in Congress is speaking out about it. And you know, it got to be really wrong for other Republicans to talk about it. Now, y'all gonna see for yourself with these messages, it does not look like this was a consensual relationship. She's saying things like, hey, this is going too far. Dude just did not care. Before we take a look at these messages, I want to give y'all a heads up. All of these messages that were released was one day of text messages between the hours of 12 and 1 o'clock. So you can use your imagination on what his interactions with her in person and what type of other communications they had look like. All right, so he says, then send me a sexy pic. She says, I swear my life has been a telenovela for the past 7 days. You don't really want a hot picture of me. Now, understand this. When you're in a situation where your boss is talking to you like this and you feel uncomfortable, this is how pushback look. She's telling him, I don't want to, in a I don't really want to get fired type of way, but bruh, leave me alone. He says, yes, I do. Hurry. She says, is this a test? Then she says, no, I just don't like taking pictures of myself. He says, I'm just such a visual person. First of all, who even talks like this? You could tell he went on prom with his mom. She telling him no, and this guy, like, again, just does not care. Then he says, favorite position. She says, yours first. Then she says, so is that why you're quiet around me sometimes? Because you think I'm hot? He says, on top, pinning your legs, in response to her saying, yours first. Then she says, this is going too far, boss. So how long have you thought I was this hot? He says, what do you like? And in response to her saying, how long have you thought I was hot? He says, since you worked at the chamber. Anal? Question mark. She says, never. Again, she's told this man, this is too far, Tony. He says, what did you delete? She says, you should have read it. He said, true. She then say, please tell me you didn't just hire me because I was hot. He says, no way. Again, she's clearly being harassed. Now, it's not clear how long this went on, but I do know that her husband sent a message to everybody that works in the office saying, I know what's going on and this needs to stop. Let me show y'all that message. So he said, just a heads up, this is Adrian, Regina's soon-to-be ex-husband. I just wanted to inform you all that we will be getting a divorce after my discovery of text messages and pictures that she's been having an affair with your boss, Tony Gonzalez, for some time now. Feel free to reach out if you want more of an explanation. And now let's look at some of the Republicans that is also speaking out against this. First up, I'm going to show y'all the former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, who said he should resign. Now, it's ironic that he lost his job because of a similar situation. It involved a former Republican congressman named Matt Gaetz. He was pissed off that Kevin McCarthy wouldn't kill an investigation in regards to him having sex with, minors. And by the way, Tony Gonzolas also called that same Matt Gaetz a scumbag.
Tony Gonzolas has faced several calls this week to resign. Why? Because Regina Santos Avalos, who was in his employ, says she had an affair with him. She committed suicide. She set herself on fire in shame over this. Gonzalez continues to say he's not going to resign, that the ethics committee will handle this. Should he resign?
Yes, he should. And look, I think...
Fred Upton was on my show last night and said it's very clear. You have any kind of sexual relation with someone in your employ, you're out.
Well, look, if this was in a business, he would have been fired.
Hey, that is exactly right. If this was any company in the U.S., that person would have been fired. So a politician shouldn't be able to get away with this either.
This young lady committed suicide. It's devastating what has transpired here. She worked for him, and if you look at these emails today, she literally says, "Boss, this is too much." She asked...
It feels very bad.
Did you pick me? He said, "I knew you from the chamber." I mean, this is unacceptable.
And then we got Representative Nancy Mace, another Republican, calling for Tony Gonzolas to resign. Here's her letter. It ends with Tony Gonzolas should resign immediately and be held fully accountable for what he's done. She and her family deserved better. All right, here's Rep. Anna Paulina Luna. She's saying the entire Texas delegation, as well as every single other member of Congress, should be condemning a sitting member of Congress asking for explicit photos of their staff. And then you got Representative Lauren Boebert, who is reacting to a post of all of these text messages, and she's saying resign. She's tagging Representative Tony Gonzolas. Again, everybody I just showed you is a super Republican, and even they saying, yo, you gotta go. And if she really committed suicide, he preyed on somebody that's clearly mentally unstable and could have potentially been a reason that she committed suicide. This sick fuck needs to resign today. I mean, immediately. But instead, he's currently running for re-election. And we also need another investigation around the sketchy circumstances of this suicide, because none of this just makes sense to me.